I'm going to be quick. Pastor, I'm the big brother, but I only got 17 minutes.
No, 17.
We start off with Reverend Jackson. We get to Reverend Cass, and he's the player from
Himalayas.
The ministers jump up. This was riding dirty. And then we got Puffy, Duffy, Huffy. I thank God for Elder Wayne, who was thirsty and just looking. Listen, I can't let nothing out. But I'm pleased to be in front of you. I will be coming to you with the sixth word, and I will be reading from John 19, verse 30. When Jesus therefore had received the vinegar, he said, "It is finished," and he bowed his head and he gave it the ghost. Just again, guys, when Jesus therefore had received the vinegar, he said, "It is finished," and he bowed his head and gave up the ghost. Church, there are times we make decisions to move in one direction or another. We know how to do what's right for our own interests and our own well-being. See, we make these decisions based on what our own understanding is, church, and certainly what we expect from those results. And if you remember a few weeks back, Elder James gave a sermon, and it just really, it stuck with me, and it was predicated on duty. And that duty is a calling that places and supersedes our own understanding and thoughts. It is selfless in nature. It, in fact, is a duty. So there was one who gave us something so great and so everlasting that it can only be described as supernatural elsewhere. So please stay with me for a moment as we walk through the topic of a duty to die. A duty to die. Most heavenly gracious Father, we praise and thank you for the evening, Lord. We praise and thank you for your spoken word, Lord. We ask and I pray that you take all from me, Lord, and just allow me to deliver whatever you have to deliver for your folks, Lord. I ask that this evening, if that be your will, in Jesus Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So I want to share just a few quick points with you this evening, and I'll sit down and get out of your way. And again, reading from 1930, when Jesus therefore received the vinegar, he said, "It is finished." He bowed his head, and he did give up the ghost. Now, folks, this is the sixth word. It is finished, which in Greek is tetelestai. It is
Talk about it.
Indicative mood of the Greek verb teleo.
Right.
My wife liked that. She said,
Tetelestai. Go ahead.
Teleo, which means to bring to an end or to complete. And I want to break this just one verse up into three different sections. And the first one is, when Jesus therefore had received the vinegar. This brings me to my first point this evening is to drink. Now, what is a drink? It's a liquid that can be swallowed as a refreshment or nourishment.
Okay.
Now, church, we don't believe for a second when Jesus received this vinegar that, number one, the Romans were giving it to him as refreshment, and whether Jesus was receiving this as refreshment.
Okay.
Not at the liquid that he was receiving, but it was refreshing to him because it was part of Jesus' duty to die. We had Sunday school last week, and we talked about praying for each other as saints. And I think I brought up the subject. I said, hey, listen, I will die for my family. And several of us said the same thing. And as I was telling that to my wife today, she said, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. Come on. You're not comparing yourself dying to what Christ did. I said, no. I'm saying I would die for my family. I would die for my wife. I would die for my children. She said, what if your children were like the children of God? What if they mocked you? They were always questioning what you said.
Right.
If they were always doubting. If you always had problems. I do.
Right.
I do know some of my children. But in reality, she had me to think. And what I thought of is, even our families can do some things that we may not forget.
Right.
That I may change my mind and I'm not going to die for.
Right.
Thank God for Christ.
Yeah.
Thank God that He overlooked all that we've done and died for us anyway.
Yeah.
So after Jesus received the vinegar, He said, "It is finished." This brings me to my second point, which is destiny.
Okay.
Which means the events that will necessarily happen to a particular person or a thing in the future. Church, it was Christ's destiny to die for us. Christ took total and complete ownership, just for a second or two. He might have to, step back on something that had to happen for you or me to worship in His name's sake. No matter how repulsed you are at the process that He died, it had to happen. Somebody talked about Peter early on. He was always doubting. When Peter doubted Christ when he said, I was going into town and die and be resurrected. No, no. And that's when he said, get behind me, Satan.
Right.
Peter didn't understand that he had to die. It didn't matter how. He had to die for us to get to where we needed to be.
Talk about
the
it.
results that happen are something that still stands today. But we'll get there in 1 second.
All right.
We talked about the drink, which was a refreshment. And we talked about the destiny, which was meant to happen. I want to take you to my third point now, which is done. Done means a past participle of do. Or is used as a non-standard past tense of do as well. So in this last 1/3 of the verse, see, now you guys had to know me. Boy, I flunked out of first grade. So Pastor looked over the participle. Do you even know what that is? So in the last 1/3 of the verse, he bowed his head and he gave up the ghost. Church, everything that Christ had taught and preached led to a few moments in time, and dying on the cross was one. He said it was finished, which meant complete. So moving forward, this piece of work is done.
Yes.
And remember, past participle. He completed his duty to die and was moving towards his next task. A perfect tense is that this action was done in the past. You ready for this?
Yeah.
With results continuing in the present.
Woo.
You understand what I'm
Come on.
saying? While Jesus was done, we still benefit from
We
the
do it.
results. Come on. Today. So church, I wanted to give you an example. I talked about how much I love my family. And my wife and I had purposed early on that we were going to send our kids to school, and we were going to pay for 4 years, as long as they acted right anyway. And part of them going to school, we had to make a deal. They had to die for something, and that die was they had to stop all that partying and crazy stuff. I'm still praying for you, Cam. And live for something else, which was the education. But after 4 years, they got a degree. Think about it. They were done. But the results of getting that degree still benefit them moving forward and forward and forward. Y'all don't understand.
Yeah.
Christ died for us on the cross, and we still benefit from him. So, church, in conclusion, sin separates people from God, and only through the sacrifice of God, dying on the cross, could people be forgiven and become clean before God. Only by Jesus becoming that final and ultimate sacrifice for sin and dying on the cross could his work be finished. He had to fulfill his duty to die.
Yes.
So we can now approach God because of what Jesus did for us. He completed that duty to die. The last thing I'll say, church, some of you may be saying, Elder Ben, that all sounds good. You might even be correct. But certainly, I don't have a duty to die, do I? Sadly, yes, you do. You absolutely do. You and I, we both have that duty. We still believe in many situations we're in control. We still believe that we can lean to our own understanding. So instead of being still and trusting in God and being obedient, if we haven't yet, what are we going to do in our lives today, church? To let go of that sin, to let sin die in our lives. Will we let adultery, pride, hard hands, lying, will we let it die?
Right.
Will we let thieving, deception, tipping and not tithing, tipping and jiving, slipping and dying, and not truly living for the Lord? Will we truly let that die? Let that sin go. Die in these things today, church, so that we can live and carry forth God's good news as the Lord had expected of his disciples. Church, I hope I did not come off hard. That was not my point. I just want to be honest, as we have things in our life today that we must die for so we can live for the Lord tomorrow. What's your duty to die? How can you live a better life for God? God bless you. Thank you.